Good morning, Bates. It is Monday morning. I'm here with Mr. Fonseca. How you doing, Mr. Fonseca?
I'm doing fantastic. Good morning, Bates, and good morning, Mr. Softic. How are you doing?
Very well, very well. I'm here with four of our remote students, or our beacons of the week. So we're obviously so proud of them as well as our in-person students for being safe, responsible, and respectful, but also going above and beyond, um, within the classroom and outside of the classroom. It is February 1st, correct?
That's correct. We're in February now.
Can you believe it? So February not it starts the beginning of a really important month for us, correct?
That's right, Black History Month. So, as we talked a little bit before in the last morning announcements, this is a month that we celebrate all the different accomplishments and ways that people of color have contributed to our country. But we also want to remember that we don't limit it to just the month. We want to always remember and be grateful for the contributions that people of color have made to our country, every single month, every single day. And we want to also remember ways that they're still not treated fairly, and we want to be really aware of that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we'll throughout the month we'll share some, or we'll represent and celebrate all these wonderful people that made an impact in our country, so that we're here today and we're safe in our school. So we can't wait to celebrate all those fantastic contributors. But first, we're gonna get to the beacons of the week. All right. And we're going to start off with our in-person students first. Good morning, Bates. It is Tuesday morning. It is kind of nasty out there, right? Slush and ice and snow. How you doing,
Certainly.
Mr. Fonseca?
I'm doing great. Even though the weather isn't fantastic, we are still doing our best online. Everybody's a remote learner today, just working their hardest on class, from a distance.
Yeah, so everybody's a remote learner today. And so that means some people who've been in person are going to have to kind of change, what they've been doing. So what are some basic, expectations about using the computer and being a remote student?
Yeah, so because everybody's a remote learner today, I think those of us that are remote learners can really give great advice to those that are becoming remote learners today. But some advice for everyone is making sure that you follow your schedule very carefully and you always go to the right link at the right time, because some of you might have to go to multiple links throughout the day to see different teachers. And when you do that, you want to make sure that you always go to the right link at the right time, because it's really your responsibility in front of your computer to click on the right link and get there on time. You might want to set a timer for yourself. And those of you who don't have to change links, who have just one link for the whole day, you can hop on that link and leave it open with your teacher's permission and your camera off for any of the times that you're not in class. And of course, for when you're in class, make sure your camera is on and that your microphone is on and you're participating in class, because it's not enough to just be on the Zoom link listening. You really have to, your teachers have to be able to see you and be able to talk back and forth with you too. That's full participation in class.
Yeah, absolutely. And be mindful of some of the buttons, on the computer, the mute button. So I'm sure when your teacher is talking or other students are talking, you want to stay muted. You want to be respectful to your other peers and to your teacher when they do the lesson. And then when it's your turn to talk, make sure you unmute yourself so that everyone can hear you clearly. Because, we do want you to participate. Your voice matters and we do want to hear it.
Yes.
So some things to be mindful of. Mr. Fonseca, it is February 2nd. It is day 2 of Black History Month.
That's right.
Obviously, we always talk about we want to celebrate, Black history and celebrate everyone all time, right? All parts of the year, every month, every week. But, it is nice to shout out some things that happened, this month. And so on this date, I think in 1862 is what my notes say, the District of Columbia abolished slavery.
That's right.
So what does abolish mean?
That's a great vocabulary word. Abolish means to end, to make it so that it is no more. So to abolish slavery meant that they ended it, they put a stop to it, and said that it was no longer allowed to happen anymore.
Yep, absolutely. So, slavery ended, or the District of Columbia. So the District of Columbia is actually our state, our capital, right? Washington, D.C. So it's not it's a city. It's not really a state, but, it's a huge part of where we are, where White House is, where our president lives, and a lot of our, government structures. So for them to abolish slavery was a big deal. for our country.
Absolutely. And that's why it's so important to remember this date. And again, remembering going forward that we celebrate the fact that our people are free in our country. And, even though there's still some things that, people aren't receiving the same rights and aren't treated fairly, that freedom was a really big, important step that the country took towards making the world a little bit more just.
Absolutely, absolutely. So it doesn't matter, what color you are, where you're from. You know, we want to make sure that everyone's voice is heard, and that we're not discriminating against someone because they're different, right?
Mm.
That's the
That's
most
right.
important thing. We don't discriminate because people are different. We celebrate them for their differences, and that's what makes Bates and Salem great. So we want to continue to do that. Not only this month, but all year long into the future years to come.
That's right.
Mr. Fonseca, anything else you want to add in before we call it off?
Just be mindful as everyone's having a remote day, check in with your teachers, communicate as much as possible. So if you're ever having any trouble online with your classes, the more you communicate, the better we'll be able to help you.
Yeah. And hopefully tomorrow we head back to a regular school day, with our in-person and remote going on. You know, but let's get after it. Let's have some fun today. All right. It's a little bit different for those who are in person, but we're going to adapt and we're going to move forward. So that's going to wrap things up for us today. And as always, it's a great day to be great.